Autoplex in Castlemaine with Larry O'Toole. And Larry, we're looking forward to coming to Autoplex in September for the AHA conference. I'd like you to tell our members a little bit about Autoplex, how it started and where you're at the moment.
Okay, Tony, thanks. First of all, welcome, and I'm very glad that you've decided to come here. Autoplex started out as part of an overall plan developed by the Castlemaine Hot Rod Centre Limited, which is a not-for-profit group that we put together back in 15 years ago now in Castlemaine to collect up all of the information and surroundings, if you like, around the special automotive interest that takes place around this place and take it to another level. A lot of guys were looking at retiring and selling their businesses and such like, and we thought, well, we don't want that to happen and the whole thing to dissipate, so let's see if we can do something that takes it the other way. The Castlemaine Hot Rod Centre Limited came out of that came Autoplex. Because the overall plan called for an event centre, but also for a trade training facility and a museum and archiving facilities and all the rest of it. And so as time progressed, it became obvious that it was best to split those two things. So the event centre will go onto a farm property that we've purchased between here and Malden. And just when we were starting to plan how we might do what has become Autoplex, this school site became available because the schools had been merged, and then they decided they'd build a new school on the site at the other end of town. And we got word that this site was going to become available, so we started work to see if we could somehow get hold of it.
All right, and this site we're in now, it was the old technical school.
It was a tech school, and it was a TAFE trade training centre as well. I did a welding course in this very room myself when it first started, when I first came here. But it's eminently suitable to what we wanted to do, and that's why we pursued it so hard. It got very difficult to do because it was still a government-owned education facility, even though most of it wasn't being used. Through a lot of negotiation, a lot of help from the local member for Parliament, the local CEO of the Shire, we managed to get to the right people, and we were able to come to an arrangement whereby the council could lease the site, and then we could sublease the section that we've got. We succeeded in doing that 12 months ago, and we've been working flat out for the last 12 months to get the place cleaned up into the condition you've seen it this weekend. And I'm happy to say this is the first major event we've had in here. It's been a spectacular success.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment. The event we're at today, on the 28th of March, the final day of this event, it's called Autopia. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and the idea was, Castlemaine's quite an artistic community. It's quite a green community. So we decided we needed to show the rest of the community what could be done based around the artistic side of hot rodding and the fact that we consider ourselves to be the original recyclers and repurposers of automobiles. We don't throw them away, we recycle them. And then linked to all that are the things that you've seen today. The art exhibitions, the photography exhibitions, the artistic endeavour of the people in this that are linked to this automotive trade, and yet also have all of these linkages that go out into the normal community. We've got theatre groups using part of the space here. It's designed to be a community-embraced project, and today, this week, was all about showing the community how that can work. And I'm very happy to say the response has been fantastic.
That's great to hear. And we're standing here in front of a little bit of artistic hot rod history. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about this car?
Okay, Peter Swift's T-Bugger. Now, Peter built this car alongside Eddie Ford's 34 Coupe in the early 1960s. They started about 1961. So they were the first two hot rods built in Castlemaine, what I call the modern hot rodding era, which separates it a bit from the specials and the hill climbing cars and all that sort of thing. These were built primarily to be street cars, street rods. And so they started building that in Eddie's shed. Other local characters heard that this was going on and came out and said, oh, I like the look of this, I'm going to build one too. And that was the seed that grew into the tree we see today, with all those branches, and now linked to everything else in this district. We've got magnificent artisans here who can do any part of any car you want, and all can be done right here in this town. And it all goes back to these guys playing with their cars in the garage.
That's tremendous. What a great story. We look forward to seeing more of them and meeting more of them in September. Thanks, Larry.
Happy to host.